And welcome back, Avengers, to another episode of A Hero's Guide to Asgartha, where in this episode you will hear us discuss the cards that we were given to reveal for Set 4 Skybound Odyssey. Big, huge, amazing thank you to Equinox. Thank you to Loki for reaching out, giving us the cards that we were previewing, the assets, everything. Thank you to my wife for being a part of this as well. Thank you to Chili for allowing me to take a lot of creative direction on this. I was really excited. I had a really funny idea. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed this. I really wanted to make this enjoyable. I tried getting as much feedback from people like Kohlrabi, from Chili, from my wife. A lot of people actually did help put this together. So we really hope that you'd enjoyed this. We're really excited to try and do more of these in the future if Equinox is kind enough to let us do this again. But without further ado, let us jump right into the episode and welcome back to A Hero's Guide to Asgartha. Welcome back, adventurers, to another episode of A Hero's Guide to Asgartha. I'm Nick.
And I'm Chili.
And today we're starting off. We had some card reveals.
We did.
I don't know if the article technically mentions it. Are we allowed to tell people now?
Yes, we can. Well,
Are we? Well, I don't know. We
got
allowed
a card reveal. We got a card reveal.
We got a card reveal, and that was really exciting. So I was given one, and Chili was given one.
That's right.
Which is very generous of them. They did not have to do that. They definitely could have given us both one as the conglomerate that is A Hero's Guide to Asgartha, and we would have been very happy with that.
Yes, so thank you very much, Equinox. Thanks for all those people that also voted and said that we're able to help you guys in enjoying the game more than just the playing aspect. So thank you.
Yeah. So to give a little bit of context, we were given the cards probably about 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this idea that I thought would have been very interesting. So as we're going to talk into this, both cards had to deal with a sleep. And so I talked to Chili about this, and I was like, I have an idea for this, and he let me do the whole thing. But so both cards deal with a sleep. And so I thought it'd be really funny if we did like the 11th hour, kind of, the doomsday clock, where they're like, the 11th hour and then 11:59, we're at like 11:59. I thought it was really funny because so Ortis Signet is the card that I was given. And it's so many people have been saying that it's such a busted card. And it kind of is.
It's a fantastic card.
It's a great card.
So just let's tell you, we're going to split this up into 2 episodes. The first one is all focused on Ortis Signet. This is the card that Nick revealed. For those that had a chance, and I encourage you to watch the video that was released. It's Nick's voice, very professional, very well done. So kind of going in like our style. We asked for the lore for each card. Mm-hmm.
And they gave it to us. So what we did was we did the lore reading, but I kind of wanted it to be like kind of spooky and kind of ominous because they are kind of ominous lore readings, just a little bit.
Yeah, but they did give it to us in French.
They did give it to us in French.
It is not the 100% translation, but it's the best we could do.
Yeah. I think they might be happy with it, honestly. But we'll have to see.
I think your voice sounds fabulous on it, mate.
Oh, thanks. So we're going to get into Ortis Signet. So remember, this is the first one that we're talking about. And then the next episode, the next segment that we're talking about, we will be talking about Chili's card, which we'll save for that. But so going into this, my idea was that I kind of wanted it to be, you'll see here. So we'll move on over to the card right now. But so it's very, I don't want to say like angelic.
It's very religious for me.
Yeah,
it's a
very
celebration
religious.
Of something. Heck,
right.
if we're talking about the second coming of Jesus Christ, this is almost like that kind of celebration. Right?
I
am religious, and I'm saying this, so I don't mean to sound any offense. I don't mean to be offensive to anybody here, but it has that aura about it.
Yeah,
that is a celebration of something bigger than itself.
For context, for the people who only listen on audio, so it's kind of like a crowd with an officiant in the middle. There's a bunch of like these white tendrils, golden tendrils, you might even say, coming off of the Ortis Signet that is floating above this crowd in the air. with a bunch of clouds and those weird. I don't know if you've seen the Ordis Sky. I think it's Ordis Sky Trooper with like those water bubbles or water spheres that are standing around it, or like in the background around that character. It's kind of that. And then there's like the sun shining above, like down from below, and everybody's got like their hands upraised, and it kind of like it is a very religious looking scene. So that's kind of why I wanted to give like the vibe of like the bells of like church bells, kind of almost, and
on
then,
the
like,
audio,
on the audio that I did.
So it's really
kind of
good.
like that vibe.
So the card itself is 2/4. The card is called Order Signet. It's a spell, a conjuration, 2/4. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what it does?
Okay. So the common version, what we're talking about right here, you can choose one of 3 options. Target character gains a sleep. Target character in an expedition or in reserve loses all its boosts, or each character in target expedition gains 1 boost. So it's basically like a free, what is it, market?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess there's 2 cards that do it, because there's a card that costs 2 that you can actually play, and every character you have gains a boost. But the variety of choices is great. It is so versatile, and it doesn't have fleeting.
Yeah, that's the craziest part, is that you can play it for 4 from reserve. So this is the common version. Going into the rare version, it's a 3/3. It then gets fleeting, but you can choose 2. Now, granted, you can't choose the same option twice, because that would just be horribly disgusting.
And it's exactly the same 3 options, right?
Exactly, yeah. So asleep, target character in expedition or reserve loses all its boosts, or each character in target expedition gains a boost. Not bad for 3. 3 from hand, 3 from reserve if you manage to resupply it, or exhausted resupply it. And then
but this has fleeting. This has fleeting.
Correct.
So the rare has fleeting, whereas the common does not.
Yeah. And then Muna gets the out of faction, which they did not need. They did not need this. This is just rude.
You know, I actually think they did need it. They didn't have much board interaction. So from Muna, from my perspective, this is something that can, of course, it's offensive. You can actually do good things for it. But you can remove boost from a character. You can make something fall asleep. So if it's affecting you, you can do this. This is a very good late game card.
Yeah.
A very strong late game card that costs very little. I love it. Absolutely love it. I would see this as a staple even at the common in all of the Ordis heroes. And the reason why I say at the common is because it doesn't have fleeting. It almost becomes a semi after you. Right, you can play it once, and if you need to play it again, you can play it again, and that also allows you to select the same thing again. Now, the second time, though, it does cost 4 from reserve. So, are you willing to do that or not? Do you have enough resources? If you're ghoul rank, potentially. I don't know if any of the other characters want to use it as a second time. So then on the other side, then if you want the fleeting and have the double option, 3 resources isn't bad at all.
I think it might be interesting to see how Zephyr might use it.
But Zephyr's ability doesn't actually coincide with this per se.
Yeah, you're right.
Because it's, ascending, you don't need the boost to ascend in many cases. But you may want to sleep a character that may stop you from winning on ascend, maybe. So it's very interesting, very versatile. I think it's a fabulous card in both factions. More so, I think it'll be used in Ordis because you have so many characters and you can really benefit from it. You can also a little bit in Muna, although you are paying the 3 resources for it.
Yeah. No, I definitely would agree with that. This card it looks so good though, and I know. Yeah. Look, every time I say that a card looks good, I imagine Trickster just in the back of my head just saying, I've never looked at a card and be like, oh, that's a great looking card. But it's just like, it's weird how religious this card does seem. Like, you look at the rare and you can see like people with paper wings like in the background.
Yeah, that's true. One thing I'm just by looking at this card that I hadn't noticed before, and I don't know if it's just me, is on the top of the text box, there's the emblem for the faction. Every faction has its own little emblem. It's almost like a diamond for Ordis, and 2 overlapping circles for Muna. I hadn't noticed that before.
Yeah, and if you look at the very sides, the very edges where above the text box, the embellishes on the corners are different too.
Oh, that is true. As in, you mean where the text box goes up a little bit, right?
Yeah. So the filigree on the Muna, but then the sharp edges on the Ordis card.
No, it's fabulous.
The design on these cards looks phenomenal.
I do want to ask you a couple of questions. How did you feel about getting this? Is your first ever card reveal in any game, right?
Correct. Yeah.
How did you feel? There's an element of gratitude, I'm sure.
No, definitely. It's also kind of overwhelming because you want it to be good, and we have not necessarily a brand to maintain, but people see us as the lore, the the lore podcast, right? Everybody recommends us for lore stuff.
Yeah, and even today I saw a video from Kari and her husband, Ian, and they were like, hey, if you want to know a bit of lore, once again, thank you so much for people that recognize us for some of the things we're doing. I really appreciate it. But okay, sticking to that lore theme, when you read the card, what stood out to you from a perspective of storytelling that you weren't aware of or became more intrigued by?
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting to me. First off, the narrator is unknown. You don't know who's narrating the scene.
Okay, and that's why you didn't say a name when you were
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, because it doesn't. There wasn't one given. So that's the first thing that's really interesting. The second thing that's really interesting is that it's the way that it's phrased, or at least in the translation, the way that it was phrased, is that it kind of lets the reader infer whether or not the hunger survived or not.
Oh,
right. So the whole point of the season 3 tumult is to figure out whether or not the hunger lives or dies.
And
right,
rightly so, because we haven't made that decision. There's still a few extra days.
But the way that it
one more weekend
is that it's kind of intentionally ambiguous to be oh yeah, she died, but she wanted this, or oh no, she survived, but this is why she failed at her task, or what she wanted out of it. Which is interesting, is that the hunger's a female.
Oh, I did not know that.
I don't know if that's true.
I didn't notice that in the and the thing is, so Latin languages translated to English.
Right.
Every Latin language seems to have a male, female of everything.
Right.
It's either male or female, just the way that the nouns are done. But
so maybe
Spanish
hunger
is the example.
Maybe hunger is a feminine word.
It's el o ella in Spanish. Il o el, I think, in French, whereas in English it's the.
Yeah.
Right. So there's no sex associated to it. So maybe in the translation it gave it what you guys did, maybe gave it the sex when it didn't need it. But I'm not sure. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I kind of like the idea though of the spirit of the city being this maternal figure of wanting to protect everybody and wanting everybody to be united in a cause. So I kind of like that idea.
Yeah. So I'm gonna change it up just a little bit now as I talk to you about on which hero would you use these cards for, and would you, or if you would at all. I gave my impression. I actually think it's very useful in Sigismar.
It depends on how you play Gulrang, right? So if you're doing kind of like how I do, where it's a mix of Open the Gates, late game and stuff, this card with Open the Gates or with the Athena would be horrifying and disgusting. But again, it's also just a good defense card. It's in my opinion, it's very playable as a defensive card. So I can kind of see this being a jack of all trades, and I think that's kind of what they were going for the signets, because, and I mentioned this, is that if you look at the product page for Skybound Odyssey, you can see Nadir in front of the Lyra signet. So I'm almost certain that every faction is going to get the signet. are going to get a signet.
None of the ones have been revealed yet, though.
That's true. That's pure speculation on my part.
And we were also day one of the
Well,
release.
Technically now we're on day 2.
Yes,
so
but
tomorrow will be,
but when
as
you
of
released
recording.
this, it was day 1, which
Correct.
was on the Monday.
Yeah,
Tuesday.
ours
Monday.
was released on day 1.
Mhm.
We are recording this on day 2, and this is technically going up on day 3.
Yes.
So, we've got a little bit of weirdness going on. But I feel like the purpose of the signets is to be interchangeable between all the factions that have them, like the main faction and the faction shifts,
Mhm.
right? So, because I have a very, very like strong feeling that every faction is going to get 2 signets that they can use.
Well, I hope it becomes that way. One is their native one, and one is the out-of-faction one.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
no, it makes sense, and I'm sure there's going to be some
idea.
slight changes in the way that it's done. Now,
Yeah,
you talked about Gulrang. Like, let me give you some of my thoughts, and you can bounce off it. And I'll talk at it from a perspective of if I'm playing Ordis, or actually if I'm playing Ordis or Muna in this case, where I think it's very useful is you'll be able to, of course, you talked about the hunger. It's a really good way of removing a lot of the boost that card has. And normally hunger, because it costs 8 to try to get all that, you may have the chance to play a couple of cards out. This allows you to basically play a card that gets you above the 3, which is what its base stats are, and then remove all their boosts. Or remove all their boosts and give that card sleep. Right? If we're near the end game, you can win that.
I'm thinking about Lernaean Hydra. I'm thinking about any of the Hydras that like
Hydra
get so many
Cana,
boosts.
it's really good. The other one that I would use this for, and once again, Muna's really becoming the whipping boy right now. But I'll say you can also play it against the Spindlers, because if you can remove the 2 boosts it has, so it can draw a card, it is absolutely useless when it goes from one day to the next. You can also remove it from a whole bunch of stuff that the boosts are so useful. Or there's a lot of Bravos cards that say if I have a boost or 2 boosts, then I can draw a card. So if you remove that, especially at Dusk effects,
or
but then
with Bravos it has ramp.
Yes,
like Tiny
so
Jin with
Tiny
ramp
Jin
and stuff.
If you can really mess up Tiny Jin by removing their boost through this. And then it's useless for them because they're not getting the ramp that they want. And that would be across all 3 Bravos heroes. So really useful there. Against Axiom, I don't see it. There's nothing there that I would say is really pivotal in terms of what you could target.
Anansi.
Now, well, you could actually, remove Anansi. That's fantastic. The Anansi effect. Man, how did I forget that? That's burned me so many times. So you have the ability of removing Anansi. The other thing with Asleep is if you're playing as an Ordis player, you have a lot of cards that say when. And as well as if you're a Muna player, you have a lot of cards that say when for anchoring. You can make that card fall asleep, so that way it's there the next day and you get the double effect of that when. So for an Ordis, it's when a character joins, you create a token. Or you can resupply would be the 2 main ones. For Muna, it would be when you play a boost, a character gets a boost, you can anchor a character. So yes, go ahead.
For context, this is going to be very interesting when we talk about your card, which I don't know if you have any other questions, but we might want to end it here so we can have plenty of time to talk about Yana too.
Oh, absolutely.
Sorry, no,
look at
who?
that.
Who? So, do you want to go straight into Yana?
And we'll merge. I'll merge the 2 slide decks together so that way we talk about them both together.
Yeah.
So Yana was the second card that was revealed, and that was my one on the server in Equinox's thing. It says a hero's guide to Asgartha. Nick, you get yours with your own name. Mine goes a hero's guide. I don't care. Like, honestly,
you're the face.
We are a hero's guide to Asgartha, and then you got your own personal one. But this was really cool. Now I'll say one of the coolest things is because my character was called Yana, so pretty simple. But in saying so she's Yana Quaggan Agent. Okay. This card, as we were talking about how to reveal this, I'm like, oh man, I'm running late at work. This is going to be really hard for us to do. And you said, well, would you mind if my wife helps? And her voice was perfect.
So good.
She did so great.
So, first off, again, the lore, right? The lore behind this card is so good. I hate to admit it. There's a reason why I changed my username, my profile name in the Ortis in the Discord server.
Oh, what did you
It's
change it
because
to?
of I changed it to HGA Corgan Informant.
Awesome.
I am slowly really starting to like this whole Corgan group vibe that's going on.
Yeah, so the spies. They're basically all spies.
I like the
Yeah.
espionage, the intrigue. Look, when I play D&D, more often than not, I'm playing rogues. So I love
rogues are cool.
love this whole
Rogues are
thing.
like spies slash like archer
Assassins.
guys, assassins kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I've seen the movie. I have never played a game of D&D in my life. Maybe one day we're gonna have to fix that, right?
Yeah. Trust me, I can DM. I've got books. I've got books, man.
Yeah, you know what? I'd be up for it. So Yana Corgan Agent, she's a character, a bureaucrat mage. At the common, it's 5/5 for 4/4 in stats, so a little bit understated. But it has from anywhere. You may have target character gain a sleep. So once again, this goes fantastic in the style of play that maybe Waru would like to use. It is expensive. 5 is a lot compared to what the group is usually playing. But before you look at it, if you look at the art, it's Yana. Yana is a spy, right? And she infiltrates people's minds, right? And she's able to grasp ideas forcefully, but it becomes willingly as the way that she does it. It's really cool as you read the story, read the lore behind it, is that she uses an agile way of being able to infiltrate.
Yeah. So look at the flavor text though. Spies from the Corgan infiltrate the factions and steal their secrets. Mm-hmm. So this makes me think that the Corgans are a completely separate group outside of the factions. And now it's making me think, where are they coming from?
You know, it's absolutely true. When we first started looking at the Corgan as a whole, they were mostly in Izmir, from what I recall. With some of them going, I guess, out of factions into Ordis. Yeah. Now here we have the common being in Ordis, and the out of faction, as we get to, being in Bravos.
Yeah.
So you're right. They could actually be a faction within the faction, right? The inner circle
that's
that is everywhere. Out. So. But I love it. I love the idea behind it.
My boy Ba did this card. I didn't even realize that. Oh.
Yeah, Bavo also did a number of the heroes, right?
He is one of my favorite artists. Like, no offense to like any of the other artists. Ba is one of the coolest people. He's so nice. He's such a cool guy. Oh, I did not realize that Ba did this card. That makes this so much so good. But anyway, talking about the rare on this card.
Yeah, so the rare is one that I think gives you a little bit more flexibility, and it's something very interesting in terms of dynamic we haven't seen on a card before. So 5/5 for 4/4, exactly the same stats, but then it says you may have target character gain a sleep. If it's facing me, you also sabotage. So this is the opportunity to double impact your opponent. Mm-hmm. Late game, this could be fantastic, especially as most
huge.
Especially as most games late, really, you don't have that many cards in hand. You don't have that many resources. If you can sabotage and basically make one of their characters be nullified, then you are doing really well, making it fall asleep. Now, there's only a couple of cards that can basically wake up a character that is asleep.
Yeah, Rallying Cry.
That's right. But what it does say is it has to be in facing them. So you companion to companion, hero to hero. The out of faction rare in Bravos is exactly the same as the rare in Ordis. So
I have thoughts about that too.
Oh, go ahead. What are some of your thoughts
about this? Okay. I have a very, 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 again, strong feeling. I have a prediction. And I feel like this is going to be one of the ones. If this card is going to see play, it is going to almost always, I believe, if possible, be in combo with the Harpooner, with the Bravos Harpooner.
Oh, nice. Double sabotage?
Yeah. So,
wow.
Because if you rush a character with Harpooner, then you get to sabotage, right? And rush is one of the new mechanics that we're going to talk about, where you may immediately play another character, right?
Yeah. Now, I'll say in terms of Bravos, the characters or the heroes that may use this, I think Sol would be the first one that comes to mind.
Oh, yeah,
because
100%.
she wants to get all her cards out in one turn.
Mm-hmm.
And then secondly, I would say Achadi, because it is a 5-cost card. It will allow them to draw. And it is, I think, the first card in Bravos that has a sleep functionality.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall seeing one. I could be absolutely wrong, and you guys can tell me if I am. But there's nothing that gives you a sleep.
Yeah.
Now, same discussion as we had earlier in the Orders faction. If your goal is to keep things on the board that you have the when ability, when token spam, then this is actually very strong. If you want to use it on your own things. If you don't want to do it on your own things, and I don't know how much value this would be unless you're looking to use the rare to sabotage. But once again, you're paying 5 resources and you're not getting the full benefit of that. Where it is useful is if you use it and they have used 1 resource already, or 2, or maybe even 3, you can actually asleep their cards. Especially if they have an effect of when I leave the expedition zone, those would be ones that you can target. I think against the Charty, that may be something that you'd want to do, is stop them from getting their draw, stop them from getting their ramp, even if it's deferring it by 1 day.
Yeah. So I think, I feel like the Out of Faction is going to see a lot more versatile play. Where I would be interested to see the Ortis version is in the uniques. Now, this is kind of what I was talking about.
There's a lot of places they could go, right?
Yeah. So I'm very, very interested to see if there are any uniques that have when a character gains a sleep.
There's nothing right now that says that.
Right.
Like,
not yet.
So that would be something new. I go through the unique finder tool that's been created by Tom constantly. And that is not one of the triggers. At least it's not something that I remember doing. So, but look, interesting. It's expensive, but if Equinox is trying to get us to use cards that have more value, that cost a little more, then it's giving you flexibility in its impact and its effects are going to get people to start making that change. I don't think this will see much play, but it has the ability of being strong, especially late game.
Yeah. I really like this card. Now, going into the reveal of this card, kind of like what we were talking about, I kind of wanted this is where I got the whole, when looking at both cards side by side, right? Like there was the common theme of the asleep. This one had the theme of like the sabotage. So I took the sabotage and I kind of took it a little literally in terms of like assassinate, right? So with the original card, with my card being the Orta Signet, I was like, okay, yeah, I kind of want like the 11th hour idea. Kind of like this religious scene with like, the theme of that. But I kind of wanted to allure to what I was going into for this card, which was kind of like the falling asleep and maybe staying asleep forever, right?
Oh,
with like the sabotage idea. Yeah. So, and I asked Cole genuinely, like I went to Cole and I was like, "Hey, do you think that this is funny?" Because I did the jump scare at the end of the announcement for this card, right? I don't know if you saw that, but it was really funny because I was like, I kind of want this to be like a little more horror themed, because when I was looking at the lore for Yana, it felt a lot more devious. It felt a lot more sinister.
You know what? It did feel
like
a
a weird
sinister,
mix.
But there's also this element of caring. Like as you're reading it, she cares for the story or the life that this poor soul has had, where people are chasing after her. what has she actually gotten into? What has she seen that people are coming to kill her?
Yeah.
And she wants
and
to
it's the rear
extract the
admiral.
secrets, right? Yeah.
It's the rear admiral of the Expeditionary Corps.
Yeah. So, but it's fascinating.
Yeah. I do have one other theory about Yana before we end up. I think that this is going to be one of the new heroes
in the future. Maybe
I think this is going to be a future, because here's the thing: very, very, very rarely do we have a character that is revealed that has a name that also has a like is an exalt pair that's like gone through the Musubi. And Yana specifically mentions Suha.
Yeah.
Which I'm 99% certain is their Musubi partner.
Maybe. Now, if we're looking at other cards, etc., that have been part of the reveal of Quorgan, you've got the Quorgan Informant. So that's really the first one that has it in its flavor text in terms of who it is. And that's also the same character that is in
Spycraft.
Spycraft. Is that the same one as Order Spy? I don't think it's Spycraft, not Order Spy.
Yeah, it's Spycraft.
So, and the thing with the Quorgan Informant, she's almost like a shapeshifter. She's able to walk through walls, kind of thing. And then you have the Yana, who has a different ability as well. So it's quite interesting. Her ability is to be able to extract things from the mind. So all of these, maybe the people that are Quorgan agents of some kind, have a special ability that allows them to infiltrate in one way or another. This is infiltrate the mind. The other one's infiltrate a location. Right. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. I love the card. There's always, for me, it was the first time I've had a card that was revealed. So there's this special feeling that we will always have to these two cards, whether we play them or not. They are going to be, they'll have a special place in our heart. And we are very thankful to Equinox for giving us the chance. And hopefully they'll continue to give us chances to do this in the future as well. Not trying to take it away from others, but if we can, we'd love to.
Yeah, this is, again, whenever we do production things, I want them to be very good. And I really, really hope that everybody enjoyed the production that we tried to put into this, with having like an actual female voice actor, quote unquote, coming in and doing the voice of Yana. Kind of, I kind of like what I was talking to. I kind of wanted like a sinister, kind of like confident, spy woman. So that was kind of like, what we were trying to go into. And, my wife is phenomenal. She's so good. She did a fantastic job. Like, I heard her, like, I was listening back and like while I was doing the production, and I got chills listening to her voice.
It
like,
was
doing
so good.
Yana. It was so good.
It was so good. And you know what's crazy is, like, we only told her last minute, like literally within an hour or so of recording it, saying, not even that, I'm assuming, Nick, that you'd like, hey, can you do this? And she's like, sure, right?
Yeah.
Did you have to do any convincing?
Nope.
That's fantastic.
Here's the reason why she did so. She's a theater kid.
Oh, okay.
So she did theater.
It absolutely came across. It absolutely came
across. So
she
did such a good job. So hopefully everybody enjoyed the production that we put into it. It didn't seem like it was rushed though. Which is kind of what I was happy about.
Yeah. So and I'm glad we went with your idea rather than my initial idea for my card, Yana. And as we close up, and we'll close this episode, then record another one for our week in review. But I was actually trying to see, how do we do this? Because I wanted to put the mystique, the mystery, the basically clouds of doubt, and as the card was revealed. So basically, you're only seeing things through a mist until it becomes clarified. And while that idea was good in my mind, trying to get that into execution when I'm not savvy on the IT, the computer, the graphics stuff was very difficult. And then when you came up with the idea of having her, and you didn't give me much at all to work with, you gave me very little insight in terms of what was going to happen. You just said, I've got a good idea. And I trusted you. And it came out way better than I could have imagined. Way better. So
I appreciate
hats off to you for your thinking cap in getting that out.
Trust me, that was kind of like a lightning bolt moment where I was like, I have a wife. She has a voice. Kind of just like, and they really need to come to us when they come and do like anime stuff.
I hope so. Well,
look,
that's all. There's always that hope, right?
I really hope they do, because man, I like doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's so much fun. I'm not a good voice actor, as anybody who
you did really well. Like your one sounded so good, and so did this card with M helping out. So we really appreciate her, and we got it for free as well, right? We didn't have to spend any money on getting a voice actor. So
that's
lovely.
true. Look, we have got a talented pool of people around us. So,
absolutely.
But yeah, I don't know. Any final thoughts?
No, I think this is cool. Hopefully you've enjoyed the journey as we explain, I guess, the process of how we came about in revealing these cards, our thoughts on whether they're going to be good or bad, whether they'll be used. I think the Signet will see gameplay. It will become a staple, I think, in a number of decks. The Yana Korgan Agent will become a niche card, but a valuable card when you do see it played, because its impact is twofold. So you're basically destroying 2 cards or 2 impacts in one go, which no other character does right now. I know there are some spells that can basically affect 2 things, but no character does. So that's what's special about this card so far.
Yeah. So, all right. I think that about does it for this one. So, everybody, thank you so much for listening. Thank you
for joining.
Hopefully, if we get to do this again, you'll enjoy the next one as much as you did this one. Because I think for these, I think that's we're gonna try and keep that same theme as like doing the lore reveals and try and put a little bit more production to it.
Absolutely, and that's our shtick, man. That's
what we're here for.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you very much.
Yeah, everybody, thank you so much for listening, and we will absolutely see you on the next one.
Hasta luego.
Ciao.